what the actual scenario was in qualitative terms in 1979 and how it's so dramatically changed over the last 34 years and how I've lived through that. In fact, when I joined Lakme, very funnily, it was bad to look good. I'll tell you how. And Lakme actually had campaigns. In those days, and very much even today in certain Indian areas, inside interiors of the country, you have situations in which women are not allowed to wear lipsticks before marriage. If you wore lipsticks, or if you wear lipsticks, you actually are termed to be the loose fast type. And that was a fact in those days, and still is in many parts of the country. Today, as far as you guys are concerned, you guys and girls, I think it's basically exactly the opposite. It's good to be bad. You actually flaunt it at times, and this is what the youth attitudes are evolving to. A total sea change, definitely, let's say, percolating down from the top. Thrift is good to greed is good. Clearly, the values which I was brought up on, and I'm sure, let's say, some of you do come from middle class homes. Thrift is basically a way of life. Thrift is basically what is drummed into us as values. Today, it's exactly the opposite. Hard work over smart work, but it's smart work over hard work. I think you relate to this, I'm sure. And I'm sure you beat the system out here as well, quite deliberately, which I did, of course, in my times. Things haven't changed. I think blaming the system in those days, the socialist era, it was always about a faceless government, a socialist way of working, and therefore fatalism, which was ingrained in Hinduism, also actually dovetailed into the entire, let's say, so-called way of life. And today, of course, I think being the change, and Nirbhaya is a good example of that. The Bharat versus India, there's a very clear divide. The haves and the have-nots. The Bharats versus the Indias, in the sense the urban people versus the rural people. And today we talk about Dhoniization. In the sense, people actually from smaller towns do aspire to become big stars. And Dhoniization perhaps is a good word to reflect that. I think Dehati. When we were in college, I mean, clearly you were the Dehati guy, you were the rural guy, all right? And today, it's very cool to be regional. In fact, I mean, films after films, people after people flaunt their regionality, flaunt as to which small area of India do they belong to. Very different milieu, very, very different milieu. This has huge implications in marketing, and this has huge implications, let's say, in terms of how you deal with life, how you behave, and how you do marketing, and how you actually create categories.